Is it good now?
Wait. Yes. I'm sorry that it takes a bit of time. We will not fail your community because that's going to be a big sin for me because everyone is just waiting for you, Ralph. We are on live right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and if you are with me here, we are on the Platinum platform, Facebook Live. You can see here, and you can find me on the Platinum platform and also on YouTube at youtube.com/c/talkaboutlife. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to share it with the public, and you can find Ralph Ave himself and myself here with the rest of the interviews I have. Here, ladies and gentlemen, go to the Platinum platform. And then you shall see myself, Vicky Asher. We are broadcasting to you right now from Singapore. It is 3:17 p.m., the 14th of November, 2022, a great day here in Singapore on a Monday. We still have that tropical weather here. Tell us where you are right now, Ralph, a good old friend there. Ralph, how are you?
Good. How are you? Coming from California.
How's the weather there?
Where we're at, it's cold, but it gets warmer during the day. But you know, it's getting pretty cold. It's getting for our winter.
Wow. Okay.
So, yeah.
And without failing all the followers that we have got, and also we want to talk about a couple of things. We want to talk about you quickly, who you are as an international author and your background, and then your book, The Modest Leader, particularly about an excerpt from The Modest Leader that goes into the book Gold Nuggets. Gold Nuggets for Entrepreneurs that's going to be out soon. We want to talk about, Ralph, your experience as the Chief Master Sergeant of the United States of America Air Force over the years, your personal experience, your personal testimony as a leader and that who has risen through the ranks to be where you were at the top 1% of the USA Air Force. And some of these tips that you are sharing with us in your book, The Modest Leader, and also the top 10 tips of takeaways for successful leadership for CEOs and entrepreneurs. Tell us about you, Ralph, and your book and the tips for us.
Yeah, so the book started off with one of a business mentor, Dr. Garcia. He's like, why don't you write a book about, leadership? Since I've served with him in the Air Force, and he said, write a book, write how you lead, because he said he did like how I led that squadron. But yeah, so that's how the book started. So I went back and thought about how was I as a leader. I don't think not in a conceited way or a cocky manner, but just, I've always liked being in the background. I've told everybody that. And somehow, some way, it led me to all these stripes, which is kind of weird because a lot of people told me, hey, you need to be out there, you need to show yourself. And I'm like, that's not me. I'm not gonna, just because I want, just because you think this tribe requires this kind of personality, then I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be that way. I'm gonna be me, and I'm just gonna do what I have to do. And if the results come with extra stripes, then it comes with extra stripes. If it don't, then it don't. So that was my attitude going all the way up through the ranks.
Yeah, and you being the modest leader, you are speaking in such a modest fashion. But ladies and gentlemen, let me correct you. You are the top 1%. And being that effective leader, efficient in its words, you are efficient in your words. And I think that's important because as a leader, that efficiency reflects the importance of every word. You don't need to have a 10-word speech in order to get your message across. Because if you are in the military, you are in a position of leadership as a CEO, you have very little time to cut through. You cut to the chase, you go to the point, and people do understand what you mean and that you mean business. So, your top 10 tips for leadership is so important to me as I read. They are practical, they sound good, they sound right, and because you have been practicing that, you're not writing it as an academic writer, not as a researcher, but as someone who has practiced it your whole life, and you have a life testimony to show. Therefore, that gives it that credibility that people should pick up that book and read it. And that is that lifelong of experience, that lifelong of going through the ranks, that lifelong of testimony that beats any other book, Ralph. And I would say that with your book, the link is below. Anyone can look at the post below. Your modest leader talks about many, many tips, but I would like you to particularly bring up what's your favorite 3 tips that you like as takeaways for our audience and potential readers who are going to pick up the book. Tell us about the top 3 picks for yourself as a leader.
So the first one, I like just make everybody around you better. Just help them. Just help each other, show that you can motivate them to be the best they can be, and just be part of that process. Because there's too much me, I. It annoys me a lot when I see that. I see a lot of people keeping secrets, work secrets. I'm like, why? Why keep it when you're on vacation and you're the only one with a secret? Guess what? They're gonna bother you on vacation,
Yeah.
And that's what I didn't want. I wanted my troops to,
everyone to succeed.
Try even be better than me, and a lot of them did become better than me, So, and I was never too proud to share what I knew, because that way it just helps the whole crew. It just helps everybody be more prideful in what they do, and just being around you. The second one is celebrate each other's success. Again, that me, I, right? What's so great about the military is when you give awards, your troops can't give it back. So it's a one-way street, and be part of that process too. And let them realize how good they can be and how good they really are. There's too many. They make one mistake and, oh, you're not part of my crew no more. I don't want to help you out. Everybody makes mistakes. We're human. I've made a lot of mistakes going up through the ranks. I have a lot of sergeants when I was making E5 said, hey, you need to step up, and I realized, like, he's right. I need to. So I've had those moments where I had to look myself in the mirror and say, okay, Avi, you need to step it up. you know. And but yeah, the celebrate each other's success, and don't be jealous of the guys who got awards and stuff. Be happy for them, because that might be that one thing that keeps him going, keeps him or her going. Don't discredit it. And and the third thing is, you just lead by example. With being a leader, you have to have good followership. So say you go up through the ranks, or just any setting, if your subordinates see you being a good follower to your superiors, and they see they like how you are, then they're gonna follow no matter where you go. Even if the situation is like where we're going, they don't know where they're going, but you give them the confidence that, hey, whatever happens here, right? If this happens here, then we're gonna do this. If this happens here, we're gonna do this. So always have a plan and be the example, when so that they don't feel lost. Because even if we don't know where the destination is gonna lead us, let them know, hey, if this happens, then we're gonna do this. If this happens, we're gonna do this. Yeah. And I would never tell someone to do something that I would never do, or I haven't done. I will be the one to learn first, if I have to, about what needs to be done, and then task, my subordinates or my troops to do that. But again, I will never ask my subordinates or troops to ever, or anybody, to do something that I have never done. So that would be the three things I think that's most important in a team environment.
Yeah, Ralph, you've written so many things about leadership, and these three things do stand out from myself. Many times we've spoken about leadership in your show, in my podcast, in the series. And I want to ask particularly about you, your experience in mentoring someone, for example. If they pick up your book, or if they pick up that chapter about the tips for successful leadership, how would they apply in that situation? For example, for example, you've got someone who's in a department, may not be the top CEO, but probably they're leading a department. They're also facing followers. There are pride involved amongst everyone, jealousy involved. Now, how do you put that aside?
I'll just humble yourself. Whoever reads the book, they're gonna realize it's not written by the greatest writer in the world. It needed a lot of editing, and right, because I'm not a professional writer, but I had a lot of editing, a lot of help, and I was very thankful that they helped me put this book out. But whoever gets it, they're gonna realize how simple it is. Just to care, find out about that. Your subordinates, find out what's going on. Simple stuff like, hey, how's your family? How are you doing? Is everything okay up here? Because a lot of times us mentally, there's stuff going on that we might not know. So if the simple things about just asking about the person goes a very long way, instead of being a boss, being somebody who says, do this, do that, do this. Ask the person first, like, get that warm and fuzzy feeling, like, hey, how are you doing? And then don't say, for me, I say, hey, can you do this for me? Not, I need this done. You need to do it. There's a different tone in that. And I've practiced that. I mean, there are times where, the mission has to get done and you have to be very direct. But mainly in like a team environment and a civilian environment, it's, hey, can you do this for me? I need this done. Let me know what the update in a couple hours or so, and
Mm.
I'll be back. Give them that trust, give them that empowerment.
Trust and empowerment. I think that even though you just said in a few words, in a few sentences, but it goes a lot, like empowerment and giving them trust. It takes years of life experience, and also can I ask? It also goes to show that you must have got lots of self-belief in yourself, that or that person. How does it come about?
That's just from childhood.
Mm,
I was never in the greatest environment, but my mom always made sure that, hey, do the right thing. And then amongst friends, I've tried to challenge myself from time to time, just to make sure I was on the straight and narrow.
mm,
Because like in the book, it explains that I've never had a father figure. I mean, I've had mentors, but I've never had a father figure. So I never had that
mm,
affirmation when I did something successfully. I've never had the affirmation from a father.
yeah,
But yeah, my mom put me in the right situations, and there was times where I went down the wrong path and real quick realized, okay, this is not for me.
yeah.
But my mom instilled that in me. My mom gave me a lot of freedom. She said, as long as you keep your grades up, and uh when my dad passed away, I promised her that I wouldn't smoke, I wouldn't drink. And and I told her that, and I've never done it still to this day. But I'll give you an example. When I was a teenager and I was very strong in my beliefs,
Mm,
I've had friends that did those things, and out of respect for me, they would say, "Hey, Ralph, we're gonna do this kind of stuff in this room. Um, we don't want you around it." And so they, very respectfully told me that. And then if somebody was trying to even make me drink or do some of that stuff, I had friends that would put them up against the wall and be like, "He don't do that stuff. Leave him alone." So that's the kind of people I surrounded myself with. And I think it just came for
mm,
naturally, just picking the right people to be around. And that's a big part too. They never really forced me to
mm.
do what I didn't want to do.
I think that's a great story. I mean, and you sharing that online now, and I hope that we could put that story into the book because that touches me. About you making your stand clear and steadfast about it. I mean, in the world of temptations, Ralph, it's really hard to
Yeah.
like be steadfast. I mean, you are being thrown in this world with temptations every day. Every second social media, one thing, digital world is just like pushing all this pornographic material to you, things that
Yeah.
isn't right to you, things that just distract you from that straight path, right? So a person, a young person, even someone with experience, someone with lifelong successful professional, things just get thrown into their path and they if they just kind of give in to temptation just a little bit, it will just go the other way. It will just go off tangent. That is always a reminder for us, well. I hope that is something that we could put into the book. Tell us about gold nuggets and your participation in it. It's such an honor for me that you are involved. Tell us about the gold nuggets and your hopes of it.
I really like what you're doing with the Golden Nuggets. It just brings everybody together from a different perspective, different parts of the country, different parts of the world, and just subject matter experts on each uh, situation. So I am honored to be part of that. I'm honored that you invited me to be part of you know this project, because I've met a lot of great people through you, and then I've met great people that led me through to you. So it's just networking and just making yourself known. And like I said, I'm not very I'm not in the front. I like to be behind the scenes and just trying to help people out. So that's,
Yeah.
but for this, I really appreciate you letting me be a part of this project that you have.
And I mean, you have a great story, and we do have the liberty, the democratization of the technology to use, that we are able to reach out to many people. Not because, like what you say, we're trying to sell ourselves, but there's always some little good that we can do. Not to trumpet our efforts, right? These are small efforts, but I always feel that sharing conversations and education is a way to give back. We may not have $1 million like Jeff Bezos, right? He just gave $1 million away. We don't have a lot of that to give away, but we do have the heart to give. And I think that if we could come together collaboratively, it kind of magnifies and it kind of give an example to the world, like this is an example, we throw and create that ripple, and I hope that other people can emulate. I'm so glad they were doing this for education. We are doing this for young people. We're also throwing these gold nuggets together so that anybody can pick up the book. It could be a young adult, like the young adults that you're coaching. It could be an adult who is going to pivot themselves into a different career path. It could be an unemployed person. It could be someone who's going into entrepreneurship, thinking about that, or it could be entrepreneurial. You don't have to be an entrepreneur to be an entrepreneur.
No.
It is about the thinking. It is about the attitude. It is about taking ownership of your life and your actions and your outcome. Not to take up too much of your time, Ralph, 10 seconds over to you. What would you want the viewers to take away from your book? Just 10 seconds if they could only have like a minute of your book or your chapter.
10 seconds. Just care about the people around you. That's pretty much the most important thing for me to others that are listening. Just care.
Here. Thank you so much. So that's the final word from Ralph Ave, the retired Chief Master Sergeant of the United States of America Air Force. I must get that right. So Ralph Ave, thank you so much for sharing your heart, sharing your words, and sharing your life experience. I hope that we don't make $1 million out of this, but we hope to aim to touch 1 million lives as this becomes a legacy for us and much more projects. I hope that we can collaborate across the world, across the oceans. Ralph, thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Vicky. It was a pleasure to talk with you.
Yeah, hope that we could meet up sometime in Singapore and let's have a world tour for the book. Let's aim for that. And let's have this world tour, and let's have a world tour and world speeches and just touch lives. Just let them know that they are okay. If they can keep to certain aspects, the thing is that there are too much people who are disappointed with lives at the end. Time is just speeding past, like what we just said, Ralph. We finally feel that, hey, we are not doing enough, or there's so much things out there that we have yet to set out to do, waiting for us. So Ralph, I hope to come back to you. Thank you so much for being with us. Again, his book, The Modest Leader, please go below the post to find his book. And the Gold Nuggets is going to be out soon. I hope that we can touch several lives out there. Thank you so much, Ralph. Welcome to Singapore. Today is the 14th of November, 2022. Waiting for you and for the rest of us to have this world tour for the book.
Appreciate it, Vicky.
Let's pray for that. All right, bye. Thank you.
Thank you.